Hello, all. Thank you for joining us again on the Almost Brothers podcast. Hey, will you do us a favor? If this podcast has meant something to you and encouraged you, will you consider becoming a monthly supporter? You could do $3, $5, $8, or $10 a month. What this does is this helps financially support the podcast so that we can continue to put out content and help better serve you. So if you would, down in the show notes, you can click the link, support, and become a monthly member. We love you. New episode coming your way.
Milk.
I don't trust people that drink milk like as just a drink.
Let's live.
Like just like, oh, I'd really just love a tall glass of milk.
Let's live.
Really?
I will
Let's
drink
live.
milk with like cake,
Right,
like sweets,
right. It's
but
got to
not
go with something.
yeah.
Milk is not something you do by itself.
It's not a beverage.
No, that's weird. That's weird. That's real. I'd fancy myself a glass of milk like you're a psychopath.
Who are you, a kitten?
Who talks
Right.
like that?
I don't know. People who drink milk just to drink milk.
It's just British people.
I guess.
Or English.
Yeah, it has to go with something. Cookies,
Yeah.
brownies, something.
See, like
Now I want brownies.
like
Thanks.
There's some in the fridge.
even with cereal, I'll put just a little bit, just enough to moisten
Or
cereal.
That's a weird
figure out how to say
weird
moisten.
word, man.
Moisten.
Or I equally don't trust people that put milk and then cereal. I'm telling you, I've got a bone to pick with some, no pun intended, I guess, milk, strong bones, but I've got a bone to pick with people and their milk. Like, come on, what are we doing?
Calcium.
That's how Blaze makes his cereal. He'll pour the milk in and then the cereal.
Oh,
He's a serial killer.
it explains. I see what you did there, you little.
That's the best I got.
That's the best I got. Do it backwards.
So anyway,
It's funny. What's up? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Almost Brothers podcast. On today's episode, we are asking the question.
who drinks milk?
and why?
No.
And what is wrong with you?
We are not sponsored by milk.
Milk in general.
Council.
No, we are asking the question, do you walk the walk? Or do you just do church well?
This way. I just had that same song in my head.
Wow.
Sorry.
Y'all are like two peas in a pod, man.
It's a
very
big pod.
big pod.
That's a weird pod. I don't know if I want to be. That's a lot going on there.
It's an abnormally shaped pod.
Man, abnormally shaped.
large, and the one. That
One
matter.
side.
Was that a pear?
Very lopsided here.
Fair.
That's fair.
Anyway,
That's funny. Yeah. So just talking about doing church well. And I think that a lot of times church people think that means having a good service
right.
Yeah.
and not doing good service.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
So what do y'all think the problem is that causes that to happen?
I think that people have gotten into the habit of checking the box.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they go to church. Well, I did that. Do you go to church? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Do you do anything outside of church that makes people know you go to church?
Right.
No.
It's like, are you a Christian? Yes. What do you do to show that? Like that, that comes with action, right?
Right.
Faith without works is dead. That doesn't mean your works save you, but that means once you have faith and you're saved and you get grace, works happen
Right.
or are supposed to.
And that's how that's one of the ways I judge a church is by their outreach.
Yes.
If you don't do anything for your community, you're not showing Christ.
And I find that is the case for a majority of people that are outside church right now. Is they look at a church and say, well, what do you do for others?
Right.
That's not in your building.
Right.
Yep.
or that's not people that go to your church, or people you're trying to get to go to your church. Like, what are you doing for the community? What are you doing to reach out? What are you doing outside of that? And who are you outside of that?
Right.
Yeah, people start seeing church as a clique.
Yes. Yeah. And we are to blame for that, because that's what we make it.
Us specifically?
Us, you.
Way to go, Richard.
You.
You ruined church.
But we create this church culture of us versus them.
Mm-hmm. And that was when I went to SEMO. I lived on the River campus, a very liberal, dominant campus, and it was an eye-opening thing because we did Bible studies on campus. It was an eye-opening thing to kind of talk to people that weren't Christians, and then their first idea of Christians is they're judgy.
Yeah.
They're hateful, they're standoffish, and anything negative.
Yeah. Unapproachable.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they can come up to you and talk to you or be a part of, and it becomes a barrier of entry. Like, I don't know how to get in. Right. And even people that they'll come and sit and go, I don't feel welcome here. Right. And of course there's gonna have to be change, and people's gonna get their toes stepped on and all that. But I think that we've got to make it to where people can at least come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden. I will give you rest. Come to me. Come to me. Why did Jesus draw crowds? Because he was approachable.
Yeah.
Anytime in the Bible that it seemed, of course, we don't know tone, but it seemed when Jesus got upset, it was always at the religious. It was never at the center.
Right.
He was always, I love you. I've got a better plan for you. I've got more for you. I've got more for you. And he would get angry at the religious, at the people keeping others out. When Jesus flipped tables, we equate that to, people were trying to make money in the church, which that was happening, but that wasn't the only reason he flipped tables. I'm preaching now. Okay. That wasn't the only reason he flipped tables. He flipped tables because that was the barrier of entry to get people into the church. Is you better bring a good offering. If you don't, you could buy one here. So poor people, the people that didn't have, couldn't come in. So the Bible says when he flipped tables and he chased them out with whips, that made room for those on the outside to be able to come in.
I am so glad that we as a church don't do that these days.
Right. Exactly.
Judge people by their offering. That would be terrible.
Or what they wear, or what they look like, or what their past is, or what they smell like, or what their last name is. Yeah, exactly. And it keeps people out. Yeah. I always love seeing like memes of people like churches in the United States getting a letter from Paul. Would be not good.
It would be different,
because it's like, what are we doing? Yeah. We had these big, beautiful, amazing churches with all these people, but we're making no difference outside of that building.
Yeah.
Well,
so what are we doing?
I was talking to the guy that was training me at my new job. Shout out to Dustin Jarrell.
What's up, Dustin?
He said he's going to start listening, so we're going to test him. But
you got to say toe jam when Richard asks you what's the magic word.
I don't like that code word, but anyway, we were talking about these street preachers that call out homosexuals and just screaming at them and telling them they're going to hell and telling them that you are doing nothing except driving a wedge between them and God.
Yes.
You are not drawing them to God. You are not being a representative of Christ when you're doing that. So stop.
Maybe here's an idea, okay? Because you can be right in your thinking and wrong in your approach.
Absolutely.
Why not ask them questions? Why not ask them, hey man, what's your story? Like talk to me. How about you meet them somewhere in the middle and going, hey, what's going on in your life? Right. What do you think about all this? What does your background look like? What have you been through in your life? Because we don't know what people have been through. We want to yell at them and we don't even know them.
Right.
We don't even know what they're going through or what they've been through or what they're having to live in, So how about we meet people where they're at and then get to that point to where now you can give them the truth, you can give them God's word, and they'll receive it instead of just
right.
Well, have you ever seen a video where that person goes, you know what, you're right?
Right.
Never.
I didn't know that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's, I've always said when it comes to having conversations with non-believers about believing and all that stuff is both people have to come to the conversation with the attitude of willing to have their mind changed.
Yeah.
And that has to include us.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So we want that just one way. We want that. We have the truth. You need to shut up and listen.
Yeah.
And that is very, very ineffective.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what that does, is that draws a wedge to where now people that may be curious about what we believe are like, no, I don't even want a part of it. I don't even want to ask. I don't even want to go and be able to have my mind and my heart changed, because they're automatically on the defensive.
Yeah.
And that's what we've made it. We've made it, when I went golfing for my very first time on our golf course, and I didn't know there was like etiquette that goes with it. I didn't know like there was dress code. I didn't know any of that. I'm in basketball shorts and flip flops, and I'm out there, just trying to golf. and then they had to teach me, oh, no. You have to wear a polo and khakis, and you have to have golf shoes, and you can't drive here with the golf cart, and
stay off the green.
Yeah. You don't know those. And hey, let this person play through or tee time. Like, I didn't know any of that.
Right.
And it feels like that's what we've turned church into, is a country club of, oh, you didn't know? Oh yeah, you can't wear that here, or you can't, and it creates that wall where people go, oh, well then I can't. I feel like I can't be a part of it.
Yep.
Oh, and that's we really are judgmental.
Yes,
as a
we are really.
Yeah,
that's not just something that people say.
Right.
Gasp.
As a church group, we are, and even within the church, we're judgmental of each other. Because I find myself doing that when I talk to somebody that is a fellow Christian and like they cuss or something.
Yeah.
I can't believe that you just let that come out of your mouth. That was something I was convicted of as soon as I was saved.
Yeah.
I don't know this individual's walk with Christ. I don't know what else that he might have given up a 20-year drinking habit.
Right.
And I want to condemn him for saying a cuss word.
Right. And that, and he probably knows that.
Yeah.
Like, and now you piling on to that is now making him go, oh no, maybe I'm not good enough. Oh gosh. Instead of of course we want to let people know the truth. Like, hey, here's what the Bible says. Cause it is, we always like to say, oh, the Bible's not a list of do's and don'ts. Well, it kind of is in many ways. It said there's things you do and things you don't do, but give people, that dude could have just went to the altar Monday. It's Tuesday and he let a cuss word slip. Like, give some grace to people. Goodness gracious. And I think that comes from, in a big way in church settings, is we aren't honest in our own circles. Right. Well, you can't really let people know that you're struggling. You can't really let people know what you go through. That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, they'll judge you. That is sad. That's why do you think the world thinks? If we're judging our own, what do you think the world thinks?
Well, and I'll tell on myself. My wife told me the other day that my boys' biological father, I adopted them. But anyway, there's a lot of history there. Yeah. So she told me that he's been going to church lately. My gut reaction was there's not a big enough eye roll for me to deal with that. Yeah. And immediately Holy Spirit checked me and said, that is the wrong reaction. Yeah. I should be supporting him and reaching out to him like, hey, I heard you're going to church. That's amazing. Yeah. Instead of speaking death immediately into that situation. Right.
And again, you can be correct and wrong in your approach at the same time. Yeah. You could look at history and go, it's probably, if I hit a random person in the face with a baseball, they're probably going to get upset. I know that. You may know you may have a good idea at the outcome, but your approach be completely off. Yeah. You may look at history and go, it's probably not going to stick. But you still need to be supportive in that and go, man, I hope it does. I hope it does.
Pray that it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with Liv a long time ago about someone, and, she's always doing the wrong things. And basically I went on this is going to happen because she's doing this. Yeah. This is going to happen. Then this is going to happen. And this is going to happen. And then she said something like, is that going to happen? Or I think I said this happened because that happened. She's like, did it happen because that, or did it happen because you spoke that?
Yeah. Right. Well, and that, talk about cussing. Like Christians will harp on cussing, but then curse someone else.
Right.
In doing that and saying that, oh, this ain't gonna stick. Well, you're speaking death over what God's trying to do in their life, and it may not happen. It may not stick. It may be for show.
Right.
That's not for you to say.
Yeah.
But if we believe that our God can do anything,
Yes. Then why do we doubt that?
why can't He change that person? He changed me.
Because what happens is whether we like to admit it or not, deep down in our flesh, we like seeing others struggle because it makes us feel better.
Right.
Okay, so you look at that person, you go, "Oh, that ain't gonna stick." And really, what you're saying subconsciously is, "I hope it doesn't stick because it makes me feel good to know that I have my stuff together and they don't.
Right.
Look how good I am, how good of a Christian I am, but they're not doing the right thing."
I never cuss.
Right. I would never do that.
Yeah.
That's why many times we want to attack someone for doing something that we used to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't believe they would do that. You used to.
Oh, I do that
Yeah.
all the time with people that go to the club all the time, and people that
I wish they'd get their life together.
smoke
Yeah.
3 packs a day. I'm like, the same crap that I used to do.
Yeah.
And I've
At the same age they are.
Yes, I've got the nerve.
And that's why it's so important that we talk about walking the walk, because we are called to imitate Christ. We've got to lead by example.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah.
Fire right there.
None of us have it together.
Yeah. And we're talking about being on to that life group with Paul Pierce and some people from Liberty Hill. We're talking about being vulnerable, and we as a church, we've got to be vulnerable with each other.
Yeah.
And that in turn, that's going to eventually people outside the church coming in be more encouraged to be vulnerable with us.
Yeah. And of course you want to have that small group of people that you could go to with really, really just stuff that you're really dealing with. But also we need to be more transparent outside of just a couple people that were, because again, as you do that with people that are in your church, now they know, oh, okay, this is a safe place for me to talk about what I'm dealing with. We got to understand that we may have a small group that we could share those things with, but we try to act like we have it together to everybody else. Not everybody has that.
Right.
You may be that for that person, but they're never going to know it's okay to struggle, or you're struggling with something if you never say that. If you're like, well, I can only tell a couple people.
Right.
Okay. But those people that are part of what you're doing, now they don't feel like, they may not have that. They don't have a lot of friends. They don't feel like they could share what they're going through.
Right.
So I think that is something that's, because again, Jesus had 12, he had a few, he had one, so he had certain levels of this, but we've got to understand that we need to be vulnerable and let people know it's okay to not have it together. That's what we're here for.
Right.
Of course you want to show them Jesus, like there's a hope at the end of that. It's not just, oh, we're struggling, let's struggle together. It's we're struggling, but God.
Right.
Of course there's that.
Well, my thing is, I feel like we need to change the idea of church, as in church being a place where people that don't have it together go.
Yeah.
That if you have it together, what's the point in you going to church?
Yeah.
If you have it together, what's the point in you worshiping God?
That's what Jesus said. I am here for those in need of a physician. If you don't admit you're sick, you don't know you need a physician.
Right.
And it starts in the church. That's how it begins to spill out from there, is us going, hey, I'm broken too. The only difference between me and you is I found a man named Jesus that fixed me.
Right.
I'm still struggling, but he fixes me. Every day I have to go to him. God, I'm struggling in this. Okay, cool. God, I'm struggling in this. And we don't want to do that. We act like we got it all together. And it's crazy. And then we wonder, well, I don't know why more people don't open up. I don't know why more people don't come down to the altar. I don't know why more people don't come with what they're struggling with. You don't.
Right.
Like they don't feel safe in doing that.
Yeah. And then you'll get those people that try to encourage that, but with may not, they might fake it just to put something out there, and it's something tiny.
Yeah.
Which it could be something big to someone else, but I saw a homeless person, I didn't give them a bunch of money, and like kind of putting on an act like that.
Yeah.
Like we need be real.
Right.
We need if we want people to be vulnerable, we have to be vulnerable.
Yeah. And there again, it's a delicate balance because there is, leaders, you're held to a higher standard than everyone else. Like you need to have it as much together as you possibly can. Like that's the point of a leader. The Bible says don't aspire to be teachers and preachers because you're going to be held to a higher standard.
Yeah.
That just is, that comes with it. So you need to have your life together, and you need to have it together. But also we need to be at a place where we're able to tell people, like, I struggle too.
Yeah.
I do. Like it, right. You have to, because that is how you build that rapport and that relationship with people. So now they can come to you and say, hey, I'm struggling today. Right. They feel that connection with you. People relate more to your weaknesses than they do your strengths. Yeah. They just do.
In church last Sunday, Pastor preached on weakness is your greatest strength or something like that.
Yes.
Because, through our weakness, God is strong.
Yes.
So if we're not able to show that we struggle with stuff,
yes,
what is that teaching everybody else?
Like, we do know that Paul, the artist formerly known as Saul,
AKA,
wrote most of the New Testament, wrote books about struggling. Mm-hmm. We do understand, wrote letters to the church, wrote things down that said, I am the chief among sinners.
Right.
We do realize this, right? So this whole thought of, no, you gotta put, show that you're an overcomer, and you're like, I get where that comes from, but also you have to show levels of weakness also. Right. Mm-hmm. It just, because it gives people both sides of that. You can't just always you can't tell somebody who is struggling with life and getting beat up and beat up and beat up. You can't tell, hey, overcome, look at it, overcome. They're like, that sounds great, but I can't relate with that.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's like the cliche of people saying God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Yeah. You're darn tootin' he will.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. And the whole point of that is that you're not supposed to handle that.
Yeah. You have to lean on him. Yeah. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the idea that I like is progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Just we're supposed to be getting better.
Yeah.
We're never going to be perfect on this side of the pearly gates, but we're always supposed to be striving for better. Mm-hmm. And that's where we get it wrong. We think that if we go to church and we do our thing on Sunday that we're doing better than somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the case.
Right.
There are sins that are happening in the church that aren't being called sin, because they're socially acceptable.
Yes,
gossiping and lying and all this stuff that is going on that should not be going on.
So worried about pointing at other sins that aren't in the church.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yep. And and now, especially with the age of communication that we're in now with social media, it is very apparent to people outside the church.
Oh yeah.
Like, they don't want to call out sin that's running rampant in their building, but they want to call out the sin outside that everybody else is dealing with.
I can't tell you how many videos I've seen of, I'll put in quotations, Christians, because I don't know their faith, I don't know their personal life. They'll go to these LGBT community events and stuff, and they're not like poking at them and stuff like that, but it's they're trying to agitate them into an argument. Yeah. They're asking them, well, this is a sin and the Bible says this. Well, how about going up to one of them and just being nice, just being kind? Like, because my thing is like it's a tough line to walk when you're in that kind of situation, going to an event like that for the specific purpose of sharing the gospel. It's a tough, and it's really hard to navigate how to do that. And one question that was posed to me this week is, what are you doing, or what are you doing yourself that's showing Jesus to other people?
Yeah.
And going to seeing those Christians go to these events and just kind of barking scripture and stuff at these people's like, that's not showing Jesus.
Yeah. And it's like everything funnels down from the church.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're trying to fix those outside of the church that don't go to church while we're allowing churches to be broken.
Right.
And I've got me and Jamie talked about this the other night. I've got such a burden for the lost while equally having such a burden for the church.
Yeah.
Because I want the church to succeed so bad in bringing the lost in, but until we fix the church thinking and the church way of that we've done things for so long, you can't help someone who's drowning with a broken life raft.
It's almost the blind leading the blind.
Yeah. So it's like it hurts to watch this church culture that we've created of great music and shouting and hands and everybody's running around and doing all this, that they go out and it's the just meanest people
Right.
that aren't showing the love of Christ, that aren't trying to be a safety net for anybody. They're just being, hey, you better get your life together. You better get your life together. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And it's such a helpless feeling, but it's something that I feel God has put in me for that purpose of, I see things a lot through the lost eyes more than I do the church's eyes. I just do, because it's like, I see this lady that's been saved for 60 years that you go, okay, cool. What have you done with that? Well, nothing. I go to church every Sunday. And it's like, what, like you have such a bigger call in your life than to go to church every Sunday.
Right.
You know, like what do we do? We're not building the kingdom. You're building a church building.
Yeah.
I watched a video the other day. Y'all might have seen it. And it was a preacher. He said, everybody stand up. And he said, I want y'all to turn around and touch the seat you were just sitting in. He said, that warm spot that you were just sitting in, that is not your mission field.
Right.
That is not what we were meant to do.
Yeah.
We are meant to
That's so good.
take what we have here outside and help somebody else.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be hitting them over the head with a Bible. You can buy lunch for somebody,
Yes.
and it's a mission. I mean, we just put so much emphasis on the big stuff.
Sit down with somebody for coffee and just ask them about their week.
Yes, relationship.
You would be amazed at how many discussions that opens up.
Yeah.
Just sitting with somebody and talking to them about their life. That all of a sudden now they're asking questions and they're saying, what is it about you that, well, where do you go? What do you do with your life? And now it opens up a door to be able to talk about, hey, man, just Jesus. I used to be just out there, man. And then I met this man named Jesus and he changed my life. That's why I'm able to sit and do, and it opens up and it's crazy.
We was at Walmart one night and y'all know who I am. I talk to everybody, but Jennifer's like, you don't have to talk to everybody. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Why not?
Yes. Because you never know when that conversation is going to come up.
Yeah. And how much that just talk, hey, how's your day going?
Yeah.
How that will brighten somebody's day up.
Yeah. It's always something simple, from helping someone financially to smiling at them.
Yeah.
It can be the simplest things that change. And that's essentially the call that we have. It's not to throw Bibles at people. It's not to yell scriptures at people. It's to help and to care for people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Do you feel that denomination tradition is partly to blame for all this?
For that, yes.
Because
that's even more lines that we're putting up.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a huge rise in non-denominational churches right now. And I feel that's the reason is because people are tired of man-made rules that aren't in the Bible.
And people from the outside, they look in at that and they go, well, these 5 denominations can't even agree on anything. Yeah. Why do I want to go in and be a part of that?
And I feel like this generation is becoming a lot more bold with pointing out the faults in the traditional church.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
because we want to get better, right? And here's the problem: is churches and pastors and preachers and speakers and evangelists and all. We all say we want it to get better. We want church to just be the best, but then we don't want to be told when something needs changed.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole idea of you want to get better. That means there's something either wrong, or maybe not wrong, but needs to be done differently.
Yes. Yeah. Because guess what? This may be a shocker to everybody. No denomination has everything exactly right.
Right.
None.
Are you kidding?
Zero. Not one. But we think we're the only ones that know all of the truth and all of this, and that Bible is the only thing that has all the answers.
Right.
We don't.
And
Why?
even-
Because we're human. We put our human spin on every single thing.
Yep.
So you've got something, even if it may be a minute thing, it's off because you put your traditions and your thinking and the way you want to do things into it. So we can always improve on that.
Right.
But we don't want to hear that.
Right.
We don't want to hear that. No, yeah, every one of us, every single one, so it's from the outside looking in, they're like, they don't even have it together. None of them can agree. You've got the Baptist here, and you got the Southern Baptist here, and you got the Pentecost here, and you got the Assemblies here, and you've got this here, and you got the non-denomination over here. Why are they all different?
Right.
Well, because one day so-and-so said that, okay, well, this needs to be a little different from this one, but they still believe all the same thing. So why are they two different? They don't know. And then you got it to where now they won't do anything with each other. Well, the Baptist church is doing a revival. Well, we can't go to that. We're not Baptist. What?
Right.
What are we doing?
I didn't know there's a Baptist kingdom.
Like, what are we doing, man? Like it's crazy. It's and until we address that we've got more as church people in common than we have differently, come together, put aside our differences, put aside our traditions. If it ain't in the Bible, put it on the table. Traditions are great. Super awesome. Amazing. There's great traditions. Right. We wear matching pajamas and watch Christmas movies every Christmas Eve. The traditions are great. Okay. But if that Bible says this is what you need to do, that's what you need to do. Yep. Your tradition, I'm sorry, your opinions, if it doesn't line up with the Bible, I don't care.
They don't matter.
I don't care. Like what are we doing? And until we do that, now you create a place where people can come in and go, oh, okay, I'm getting what God's word says.
Right.
Not what this man from 1915 said that now they created a denomination out of it, but what God's word says.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's...
And it sounds like when we sit here and talk about this, it sounds so simple. It sounds so easy to be able to do that, but there's so many minds to change to make that happen. So many hearts that have to be.
Well, there's too much power in certain people's hands in that.
Right.
Having those splits.
Right.
So what would happen is now that power structure begins to spread out to more. And we can't have that. We can't have that. We can't have that. You're part of this denomination. So we, so it's like, and it's just so, it's mind blowing, man. It really is. It really is. And I get it. There are a lot of false doctrines that you do have to stay away from. Like, okay, that belief system is not true. But for most of like the main denominations and church cultures, most of us think pretty close to the same.
Yeah.
There are little things, there are non-essential things that we argue on that splits this denomination from that one. And it's like, that doesn't really matter, especially when it comes down to salvation anyway. Yeah. Right. So let's come together. Come on, y'all. Like, let's.
Usually because it's a matter of tradition.
Yes.
That separates the denominations.
Well, that's just how we do things. It's like, can we please come together? Please. Like, let's stop letting what kind of lights you have in your church stop other churches from coming in, or what color your carpet is, or just nonsense stuff. Come on now. It's there are too many souls on the line for that.
Yeah.
There are too many lives that need to be changed for that. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not knocking the Pentecostal church. I've got friends that go to the Pentecostal church, not knocking it at all. But I kind of wonder how some people feel that may want to go to a Pentecostal church, but they don't have a suit.
Right.
They don't have a dress to wear.
Yeah.
And now feel like I can't go to church because I don't have the right clothes.
Correct. It's something that is not Bible based. It's just I don't get it. I really don't.
And even within that denomination, you've got the United Pentecostals and
and they all change from that. Right. So it's like, and they're so full. I've had a door slammed in my face by a lady, an older lady, because we were out and hey, would you like some prayer? Like, we're just out talking to the community. Well, what church are you from? We're like, well, we're non-denominational. Well, I'm Baptist. Slam the door in my face.
Wow.
Like, Oh,
No.
okay.
Does that invalidate my prayer?
Apparently.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing, man?
God can't hear your prayers when you're wearing that beanie, Michael.
I mean, I guess I don't, and I'll never understand it.
Yeah.
And I'll never get it. And I think that there are so many people that would give Jesus a real chance that aren't because of
people,
the inner arguing that we have.
And there's a lot of people in churches that wouldn't give Jesus a chance.
Yeah.
If they knew him as he was.
As he actually,
life,
as he actually is. Oh yeah.
And that's the crazy thing about Christians is because the Bible tells us we're supposed to imitate Christ.
Yep.
And not once did I ever read Jesus turn this person away because of what they're wearing.
Yeah. It's like, that's what Christian means, right? Be Christ-like.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Christian. You don't act like it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, really? Are you though?
Right.
And it's sad, man. It really is.
Well, there should never be a Christian that has to tell you they're a Christian.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Or there should never be a Christian who tells you they're a Christian and you're surprised.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are?
If that's the
You sure?
reaction, you are doing
That's
something
good.
wrong.
Yeah. That's really good.
And that points out to me something about myself that probably needs to change, because I there's been times where I'll go to people first time meeting them and they'll look at me with the face like, "Were you in the military?" Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. You can. Yeah.
And
That's
it's like I've never had someone say like, "You go to church?" Yeah,
I can tell. Ooh, that's good.
Right?
Yeah. That's good.
right.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. Yeah. Just like, yeah, that's good. Like, just, man, you're so loving and just, and lighthearted. And that, like, you must go to church somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, you seem like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause we're meant to be the light of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So people should see that light in us.
And that's the whole, and that's why it's important of who you surround yourself with. Because I try to surround myself with people like y'all, because y'all, someone go up to Michael, look at Michael, talk to him, and be like, "You go to church, don't you?" And someone could look at me, talk to me, and probably not ask the question just because of my personality.
Yeah.
So, it's almost essentially I surround myself with people like y'all, with you people, with you people to ultimately help change my personality and how I interact with people.
Yeah.
And, and I catch myself, be like, "Oh, that's different about me," and whatnot. And it seems to be working. I am more willing to open up about things now and talk to people about things than I was a year ago.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a good thing to recognize, because that is important. Who you have around you is important.
Yeah.
I've said it a billion times, and I'll say it a billion more. Who's in your circle matters.
Yeah. That's good, man. What else is on your heart before we transition into That's What's Up?
I
don't know why I did that. That was really like
video.
That was like really aggressive. Like transition.
Podcast ninja.
I blow my shoulder out doing that. Like, I got to stretch before I do those moves. Like, I'm not as young as I used to be. Like, calm down.
You're almost 40.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I would probably go as far to challenge people. What are you doing to show Jesus to people?
Yeah.
Right. I think that's this community group that me and Liv are in. It is great. It's almost been like how we were with Remnant, with just families close together, just being able to talk, and it's been really nice to have another group of people like that, and everyone's vulnerable and willing to open up. And one of the questions that was posed was, what are you doing to show Jesus to people? And I feel like that is a solid kind of question to live by day to day.
That's so good.
If it's one thing.
And there you go. That's anybody listen. That's your challenge for the week, is to just show people Jesus. not, hey, you need Jesus. You need to get yourself together. Show people Jesus in your life.
Right.
And it's as simple as calling a person and saying, what do you need?
Yeah. Hey, how's your week going, man? I just, what can I pray for you about? What can I be there for you, about, something that simple.
Yeah. Now, I remember I got a call from one of the people in the group because I mentioned that we were going to have the kids with us come to the group. And the first thing I do is they call me and like, what do you guys need? I was like, just pray for us, I guess. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. Well, what do you need?
Right.
Anything that we can do to make this just a little easier for you?
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
And they're like, and I'm gonna get with the group and see if we can all do something to help. And it's, I mean, imagine just being a person, just anyone in your life, just coming up to be like, what is something that I can do for you, just to make something a little easier for you?
That's so good.
And just something small, and that really meant a lot.
That's cool.
That's good. Richard, anything on your heart before we transition? That was more of a
did a little easier
transition.
that time. No.
Don't hurt yourself, big guy.
So now we're getting into a segment we like to call That's What's Up. So we talk about what we've got going on throughout our last week. Maybe it's a movie, maybe it's a new TV show, maybe it's a new video game, or, you bought new tires for your car. Whatever it may be going on in your life that may be fun or our listeners might enjoy watching, seeing, or playing.
I was going to say buying tires
is
not fun when they're $500.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, some people are like car people, so they're a little bit crazy, but
true story. Me and Jennifer have really gotten into a show recently. It's on Max, HBO Max, but it's not a new show. It's an old show from like 2003 is when it started.
Bonanza.
Shut your mouth.
Oh gosh.
MASH.
That was not 2003. He's 26 years old talking about something
right,
from the
27.
1970s. So anyway, so it's called Cold Case. And there's like 7 seasons on HBO, but it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a detective in Philadelphia police, and it's a fiction show, it's made up. But they're solving all these old murders, and what's really cool about it is they show the murder it happened, when it happened, the year it happened, and everything, and then they like flash back to the age of the people when they show them, and it's just a really cool show. It's a cool concept.
How many seasons?
Like 7.
Okay. And it's like done. Is it done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I hate starting a show that's still going on.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with Reacher.
Yeah.
I'm so ready for season 3.
I forgot about that.
At time with like Stranger Things, I'm just it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Waiting on this next season 5.
I don't know why
Come
streaming services take so long to put out a new season.
Dude,
know,
my gosh, The Rookie.
Yeah.
The season, the newest season is over, but Hulu stopped showing it like after episode 3.
What?
Yeah.
They had to take a break.
Like,
that's weird.
Liv's grandpa watches it, and we took the girls over there to go swimming, and I was just inside on my phone, and he started watching it. I was like, "Oh, hey, The Rookie." I was like, "What episode is this?" Like, "Oh, this is the last one of the season."
Or are they
I was like, "Oh, I can't watch it."
Or are they like in a mid what was it, like Walking Dead would have like a mid-season finale to where they have like a big break? Is it something like that? Maybe.
Well, I mean, 3 episodes.
I mean, like,
well, if there's only if there's 8 episodes in the season,
like the season just had its finale, like on live TV or whatever.
Yeah,
and
on ABC.
And Hulu, the last episode is like the 3rd or 4th episode. That they, like
so
no more new episodes.
Streaming them.
Apparently,
yeah. So they're just not streaming them yet. Okay,
but we finished the last season, not the last, but the latest season of SWAT.
Yeah,
and then the new season comes out in the fall, probably around September.
Does that have who's that guy that's
Shamar Moore?
Yes, okay, yeah.
Derek Morgan from
Criminal
Minds.
Yeah, I always see like the picture for it, but I've never watched it.
It's okay. So this season was a good season. I hated it for my own personal reasons, and I don't want to give spoilers.
Yeah, don't do that. We're not about that.
No,
Yeah.
no, we don't do that.
It's like it's like a bittersweet kind of hate. But it was good we binged the first 6 seasons and then watched this one. Now we got to wait 3, 4, however many months till they put out season 8.
Okay.
So it's
That's
good.
what I hate having to wait.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, it drives me crazy.
Well, we started watching Rizzoli and Isles, which is another old show.
Is that an Italian restaurant?
So we started watching. I can't with him tonight.
Sounds,
Imagine how my wife feels.
sounds like
I know.
attorney at law, like two guys got together.
No, it's based on a book series, but we watched the first season, started the second season, and then it just went off HBO Max. Like they took it off. I'm like, I can't watch it anymore. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
like
drives me
they'll
crazy.
like Hulu's bad about this. They'll and Practical Jokers has like what 13 seasons.
Yeah,
They've only got like the first 7 on there.
Yeah.
And all it is they buy the rights from who makes it, so they get them in chunks.
It's so dumb. Just buy the rest.
So Hulu will buy like all this available 7 season, and Netflix has 8 through 12, and then
Just buy it.
Yeah,
All of
drives me
it.
crazy. So I'm all about. You like watching the same show 1,000 times.
One
we
Tree Hill?
are no, that's in the fall. So we are
Scheduled.
watching the OC
Oh my gosh.
all over again. So we just finished season 3, so now we're on the last season. So good. That was the
Does it
first.
ever occur to you to watch a new show?
That was so. Here's what here's what I do with like new shows. I usually have 3 shows new shows that I'm watching. So until one of those 3s are done, I don't replace it with something else. So I won't watch a new one. Like once Stranger Things is done with season 5, that's the last season. I'll start a new show and put it there. But I don't like all these different shows. I start running together, so I usually just rewatch.
Yeah. Well,
And
I don't think you'd like any of the shows that I watch because you say they get repetitive.
yes, very much so. Like Criminal Minds and stuff. It's
Love
it's
it.
like the same
It's not the same.
episode over and over. But so the OC is our summer movie, and then One Tree Hill is our fall winter show.
You
So
know
we
what's
do our
really
2
sad
shows.
is there's
That's
like
a movie, but show.
9 seasons of these things, so you
There's only 4 of the OC,
Watch
but there's
them
there's
all.
9 of One Tree Hill.
it's a lot of time.
So yeah.
I've been listening to the Drama Queens podcast for One Tree Hill. And it's very eye opening to hear them talk about.
Okay, so
stuff.
it is both entertaining and frustrating.
Mhm.
Because I feel like in the age we live in, where everybody's a victim, many times they want to play victim, and a lot of their he was so terrible. You spent 10 years on this show. It wasn't that terrible. Stop it.
Yeah.
It's like, and I know the new thing that just came out is Hillary Burton's talking about how her and Chad Michael-Murray didn't get invited back for season 7 through 9.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason she's giving, with no evidence whatsoever, is that they didn't want to pay them money, the money to come back. So they added on about 4 huge name actors for those seasons on, but they just wanted to save money on those 2. It sounds like there was probably more going on.
Yeah.
She's
Like,
leaving
it
the
drives me
podcast
crazy.
too.
Is she?
Yep. And guess who's replacing her?
Who?
Clay.
Quinn. Clay. That's what I'm talking
He's
about.
a drama queen now.
Nice. So it's just so frustrating. I don't like hearing bad news about shows I love anyway, but I feel like it's very one-sided story, and we don't have both sides of the story. So I don't know about that. It sounds like them 2 probably asked for too much money of what they should have been getting, and the show got better after they were gone. Anyway, but moving on. Yeah,
I
so that's what
started a new book series.
Ew.
audiobook.
Audiobook,
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. Liking it.
Yeah, it's the Mad Mick. I finished the first.
You were supposed to send me a link to some book series we were talking about, but I can't remember what it was.
We'll talk about that later. But
I know Helldivers. I know that's one that I really want to watch.
It's so good.
It's like, so make sure I got the premise right. So it's like the earth is pretty much scorched in like a desert wasteland type thing. And then,
it's mutated monsters.
yeah, and they're on like ships or whatever. And the Helldivers are the ones that go back to earth to
get materials.
That sounds like right up my alley.
Dude,
I'm their target demographic for that.
If they would make that into a TV show, I'd watch 50 seasons of it. It's such a good book series.
So I do have something to tell y'all. I didn't go and try it, but there's a theater like not a like AMC, but like an actual acting theater there where we live
CFO?
now, and I'm going to go try out for,
I would
some of the
love
stuff.
to do
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
So I was going to do. They were doing Wizard of Oz tryouts, and I was going to do that, but there was singing involved. So I was like,
Cowardly Lion.
better. That's what
I
I was.
was
Yes,
just
that's
thinking
exactly. Yes, that's the part I was going to go for.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so funny.
Yep. But I was
You
like,
got to be really careful though with those theater groups because
Yeah.
they'll put on some rather risky.
well, and that's something else because I did a little research on them, and they had one that was like pretty risky. So I'm like, I don't know how much I want to be. But they were doing Wizard of Oz, and then Rent was coming up after that. I'm like, man, if I didn't, because like during your audition, you had to sing,
Well, most plays like that are musicals.
have singing, yeah. But like, if I could do like the Cowardly Lion, he doesn't really sing a lot, So I was like, man, it might be
We're the king.
of the forest. I was sure that I was going to do it, but
We would
gonna
fly
go.
down to see that.
Yeah, I wanted to do something like because I did that all through school. We had a drama team and we did competition and stuff.
I did that also. That was one of the coolest things I did in high school. Was
So fun.
was the
We
play.
didn't have that.
Oh, Puxico Indians. Yeah.
Speaking of singing, Brandon Lake's got a new single coming out this month.
He is contractually obligated to say Brandon Lake every episode.
Is he a sponsor?
I wish.
Imagine.
So, what would you do if I could get him on the podcast? You would freak. You wouldn't know what to do.
I might pee.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to talk. He'd be like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But
It's fun, though.
he's got one coming out. We're gonna see him and Phil Wickham next month.
Mr. Phil Wickham.
Yep.
I like Phil
P
Wickham.
Wiki.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's wrote, sung, or co-wrote a lot of big songs, and
Yeah.
you don't even realize it. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
he's good. He's good. He is a pillar of the Christian
Yeah.
of Christian music. Like he is one of those that is just a good. Hasn't really done anything questionable, or he's just been a good, solid, artist for Christian music. So
Cool.
I commend him for an amazing career. Come on the podcast.
Is he a sponsor?
I know. Come on the podcast. Well, I love
For
you.
sure.
Anything else on your heart?
Love you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And y'all are so weird. Please, for the love of God, y'all people, anybody listening, don't just drink a tall glass of milk.
Deuces.
Hey, listeners, we just want to thank you for your continued support for the Almost Brothers podcast. Do us a favor and go to your favorite platform and rate us and like us and share with everyone that you know. Thank you so much. Love you.